I knew something was wrong the moment I stepped into the restaurant and the waiter asked if I'd still need a table for 5. I forced a smile and said yes, even though I knew I shouldn't have. I was raised to believe family always showed up, especially for the big moments. But there I was, sitting in a corner booth, fiddling with a napkin and checking my phone every few seconds like a nervous first dater. I laughed at myself, trying to keep it together. "They're just late," I muttered, ordering a drink I didn't want. My name is Eric. I'm 33. After nearly a decade of grinding in the same mid-sized firm, I finally got the promotion I'd been chasing. Senior Project Director. It wasn't just a title, it was proof of every late night, every weekend sacrificed, every no to life while I said yes to work. It was mine. And I wanted to share it with the people who mattered. My mom, my brother Jordan, my cousin Michelle, Uncle Ray. They were the ones who said they were proud of me. They were the ones who leaned on me when times got tough. But 2 hours passed. No calls, no texts. Just a steadily climbing restaurant bill lighting up my phone. I told the waiter to bring out the entree. I couldn't leave now. Too stubborn, too hopeful. It wasn't until I took the first bite of my steak, staring at the empty booth, that my phone finally buzzed. It wasn't them. It was a group photo. My family, all dressed up, wine glasses in hand, at a beachside grill. Jordan stood front and center, holding a key fob and grinning like he'd won the lottery. Behind him, a shiny electric jet ski on a trailer. The caption read, "He earned this. So proud of you, bro." I stared at that photo for what felt like forever. Then came the message from my mom. "You're not a priority right now. We'll catch up soon. Enjoy dinner." That casual cruelty hit me harder than anything. I paid the $1,940 bill, left a 25% tip, and drove home in silence. I didn't turn on the lights when I got there. I just sat on the edge of my bed, scrolling through every receipt, every unspoken debt, every moment I'd been the family's safety net. And then I made a decision. I logged into the mortgage account I'd been funding for years and canceled the payment. I scribbled 5 words on a sticky note, drove to the house I'd avoided since Easter, and taped it to the door. Let him pay for it now. I didn't wait to see if they were home. I didn't answer the 81 missed calls or the desperate texts. I just lay in bed, heart pounding, staring at the ceiling. By noon, I finally listened to the voicemail. My mom's voice wasn't the one I knew. It was cold, frantic, accusing. "Eric, what did you do? The mortgage bounced. This isn't how families behave." I replayed that line over and over. This isn't how families behave. I realized she was right, but not in the way she meant. Seriously, are you trying to lose the house? 3 years of payments, and apparently, I should have waited longer. The third voicemail was from Michelle. She didn't bother hiding her frustration. "So, you're punishing the whole family now? A dinner? Grow up. You always act like you're the martyr. Like you're the only one who helps anyone." Newsflash. You're not the only hard worker. Eric Jordan's been hustling too. He finally got a break, and we wanted to celebrate. I'm sorry your small promotion got overshadowed, but you didn't have to blow everything up over it. That one made me laugh. A tight, joyless laugh, but still, my small promotion. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the silence in my apartment. No family portraits, no souvenirs from group trips, just a clean space I paid for alone. It wasn't loneliness I felt, though, it was clarity. For years, I'd ignored the pattern. My brother Jordan always got the attention for just figuring things out. Excuses were the family motto for him. Even when he flunked out of 2 colleges, wrecked his first car, and started 3 businesses that quietly folded without paying back a single loan, he was the dreamer, the one with potential. Meanwhile, I was the reliable safety net. They didn't cheer when I got my degree early. No party when I paid off mom's car or negotiated with the bank to stop foreclosure after dad passed. but they called me a good son in public. They loved that image of me. Stable, responsible, the quiet background character in their louder, messier story. Until I stopped. That afternoon, I answered one call. Uncle Ray, the level-headed one, only got involved when things went nuclear. "Eric," he said, his voice low and tense. "You've got to talk to your mother." "Why?" I asked, calm but blunt. "So she can guilt me into covering for them again?" He sighed. "She's a wreck. Says she doesn't understand how left out you feel." I chuckled, a bitter sound. Did she also forget she texted me to say I wasn't a priority? Ray didn't respond, just silence. I let it hang there. "They've got 30 days, I finally said. That's how long until the bank posts a final notice. "She's scared they'll lose the house," he muttered. I shrugged, though he couldn't see it. "Jordan can sell the jet skis." Ray laughed, sharp and unexpected. He cleared his throat. "You're serious, aren't you?" For the first time in a long time, he didn't fight me. I think, in some twisted way, he understood. Maybe he'd seen this imbalance too, but never said anything. Maybe he'd been where I was, just further down the road. Later that night, I got a long message from my mom. She called it a misunderstanding. She said she didn't mean the dinner to turn into a competition. In paragraph 5, she even buried an "I'm proud of you." But then she ended with, "Don't let this one mistake ruin everything we've built as a family." One mistake. It was then that I realized we'd built two very different things. I'd been building trust, responsibility, structure. They'd built convenience, a system that worked as long as I didn't question it. The moment I pulled back, it cracked. The next morning, I checked the shared account. No payments were made. No one tried. They were waiting for me to cave, to be the responsible one. That was always the script. I closed the account entirely. That afternoon, Michelle showed up at my apartment, uninvited. She knocked hard, and when I opened the door, she marched right past me like she owned the place. "We need to talk," she said, arms crossed. I stayed by the door. "About what?" "About this small tantrum you're throwing. You're hurting Mom." I stared at her. Hurting her? She texted me mid-dinner to tell me I wasn't a priority while celebrating Jordan, the guy who hasn't paid for a meal in years. "He bought a jet ski," she shouted. "He's doing something for himself. That's not a crime." "No," I said slowly, "but pretending like that's some grand achievement while dismissing everything I've done for the family? That's the problem." She glared at me. "You always act like a victim." "No," I said quietly. "I'm done being a sucker." She scoffed. "They're your family." "They were," I said. "Now, they're just people I used to pay for." That's when the shouting started outside. Jordan, pacing next to Mom's car in the parking lot, yelling into his phone. I didn't need to hear the words. I could guess them all. And I didn't move. For once, I wasn't going to clean it all up. Michelle didn't leave immediately. She stood there, staring at me like she was trying to find the old me. But he was gone. The one who should have apologized by now, maybe even offered a partial payment to ease the tension, stood in silence. I waited, arms crossed, saying nothing. She must have realized I wasn't bluffing because, without a word, she turned and left. No dramatic door slam, no final remark, just silence. After she left, an eerie calm settled in. Not quite peace, but the stillness that follows a storm, the kind where you're left wondering if the skies have cleared or if another wave is looming. I made coffee. I sat on my balcony. I watched the same neighbors walk their same dogs, following the same routine. Yet, my world had shifted. That afternoon, a text from my old college roommate, Cam, broke the silence. "Dude, are you okay? Your mom just called my mom, said, 'You're having a breakdown.'" I stared at the message for a moment, then replied, "Nah, I just finally woke up." His response was simple but hit me harder than I expected. A thumbs up emoji and proud of you, man. Around 6 p.m., my phone buzzed again. A FaceTime request from Mom. I didn't answer. Minutes later, a long text came through. She started with a soft, guilt-tinged tone. Eric, sweetheart, please don't let this spiral further. I know things didn't work out the way you hoped, but we were genuinely happy for Jordan. We didn't mean to overshadow you. Can we talk? Please, I'll cook your favorite lasagna tonight. Just us. We need to fix this. Then, like a switch flipping, the second paragraph turned sharp. But canceling the mortgage was reckless. You put us all in jeopardy. You had no right to make a unilateral decision about the house, especially when you've covered it voluntarily. This wasn't your burden to drop. Voluntarily? That word stung. As if I had just dropped $65,000 over 3 years like spare change I found on my way to work. No apology, no acknowledgement, just expectations. It reminded me of last Christmas when Jordan gifted Mom a designer bag but charged it to my credit card without asking. It's just easier this way, he'd said, laughing like it was a harmless prank. Mom's response? I was overreacting for demanding he return it. It's family, she whispered, patting my shoulder. You always help. It's just who you are. But maybe it didn't have to be. Later, scrolling through emails, another notification popped up. Notice of payment failure, final warning. I opened it. It was the official 15-day notice before the mortgage entered default. I didn't reply. Instead, I pulled up an old spreadsheet I'd kept, but hadn't updated in months. Every wire transfer, every utility payment, every temporary loan never repaid. Each row was neatly labeled, color-coded by recipient. It spanned 10 full pages, over $82,000 across 5 years. I stared at the total. Then I opened a blank document, titled it, What I Owe Myself, and began writing. It wasn't just a financial reckoning. It was personal, emotional. For every time I was talked over at the dinner table, I'll get you next time. For every celebration I funded and was excluded from. I didn't realize how heavy the weight had become until I finally set it down. That night, Jordan sent a video message. Sitting on the couch, hair a mess, his face flushed, he said, "Man, what are you doing?" His voice trembled with fake calm. "You're punishing everyone for some dinner. Grow up." "Yeah, we messed up, but you've got Mom crying every hour." Michelle's blowing up my phone, and now the bank's calling. He paused, then added, "Just turn the payments back on. We'll talk after." I didn't respond. They didn't want to talk. They wanted to reset the system, patch the hole without addressing the leak. 3 days passed. I walked to work like normal. I started jogging again. I cooked actual meals. It was almost comical how much time I suddenly had. I didn't have to check if Jordan's car insurance had been renewed or if Mom's electric bill was paid. I didn't have to set calendar reminders for Michelle's rent. And every morning, I watched the group chat grow more chaotic. Michelle renamed it Emergency. Eric, please respond. Then, Mortgage Crisis. Then, Family Unity Chat. Broken heart emoji. I muted it. I only opened it once to read a message from Uncle Ray. I warned them this would happen. You were never the weakest one. You were too generous. That message I saved because it was the first time someone in that family said it out loud. I watched from the peephole as Jordan paced, clutching a paper in his hand. From what I could see, it looked like a bank notice. Mom stepped back, her gaze fixed on the door. "I know you're in there," she said. "You've proven your point. Okay, we get it. You're upset, but don't throw away your family for one mistake. Another one." One mistake. That's when it hit me. She wasn't here for me. She was here to fix the mortgage, not the relationship, not the betrayal, not the years of emotional neglect, just the payment. I didn't open the door that night. I stood there, watching them through the peephole, until Mom gave up. Jordan finally drove away in that shiny black truck, towing his $9,000 apology. I couldn't help but wonder if he'd even made the last insurance payment on it. The next day was payday. For the first time in years, my account didn't show a giant deduction to cover a house I didn't live in. My paycheck felt heavier, like it meant something now, like it was mine. I stared at the total, trying to remember the last time I looked at my bank balance and smiled. But the peace didn't last. By noon, I got a call from the bank's collections department. The house, my mother's house, was officially 2 payments behind. The default process had already started. I wasn't liable, of course. I'd removed my name years ago after covering enough temporary payments to realize I was being dragged into more than I ever agreed to. But that didn't stop the bank from trying. "I'm not the responsible party," I told the woman calmly. "You'll want to contact the homeowner directly." There was a pause. Then she said something that stuck with me. "You'll handle it," she said. "You've always handled it. That's when I realized Mom hadn't told them I stopped paying. She hadn't called the bank herself. She just waited, expected, assumed the safety net she'd wrapped around herself wouldn't dare fail. That evening I got another knock. This time, it was just my mom. No Jordan, no trailer, just her and a tote bag. "Eric," she said when I opened the door. "Please, we need to talk." I didn't say anything. I just stepped aside and let her in. She walked like she had entered a stranger's house, glancing around as if expecting to find photos of herself still on my walls. There weren't any. "We're about to lose the house," she said. I nodded. "I figured, you can stop this," she said, her voice cracking. "No," I interrupted, calm and final. Her jaw tightened. "This isn't just about money, Eric. It's about family." I almost laughed. "Mom, the night of my promotion dinner, you texted me to say I wasn't a priority. Then you threw a party for Jordan because he bought a jet ski. You called that family. I called it a joke." She flinched. "It wasn't meant to hurt you, but it did. And you didn't care until the bills stopped getting paid." Silence stretched between us. "I didn't realize how much you covered," she said softly. "That's the problem," I replied. "You never wanted to realize it." "Jordan's not like you," she said. "He needs more help." "No, Mom," I said firmly. "He needs consequences." She stared at me, her eyes glassy. "He's your brother, and I'm your son." For the first time, there was no defense, no script, no guilt trip, just the heavy echo of truth between us. "You can just leave us like this?" she asked. "I didn't leave," I said. "I stopped being used." "What are we supposed to do?" "You figure it out," I said, like I had to, like adults do. She blinked, then looked away. For a moment, I saw her not as the mom who raised me, but as a person, flawed, scared, and entirely unequipped to face the reality she had built. When she left, she didn't hug me. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just paused at the door. "Is this really the end?" she asked. I thought about all the birthdays I spent alone, all the holidays I covered, the tuition, the medical bills, every time I was asked to make room for someone else, while no one made space for me. "It's the end of me pretending this was love," I said quietly. She nodded, didn't argue. Just opened the door and stepped out. And that should have been the end, but it wasn't. 10 days later, Jordan showed up at my work. I was in a meeting when my phone buzzed with a text from the receptionist. "There's a man in the lobby asking for you. Says it's urgent." Jordan. My stomach dropped. I excused myself and headed downstairs. He was sitting in a chair, tapping his foot, wearing sunglasses indoors like some failed celebrity. When he saw me, he stood. "Hey, we need to talk." I didn't move. "Yeah, you dodge everyone. Figured I'd come to you." I led him outside. We stood under a tree near the parking lot. "We lost the house," he said. I stayed quiet. "They gave Mom 30 days to vacate. Michelle's trying to help, but she can't do much." The uptick in rent? We should have seen it coming. I nodded once. Why did you do it, man? He asked. You got your promotion. You were fine. You mean financially? I asked. He shrugged. Yeah, you're the one with the stable job. That meant I had to carry everyone else. I bought that jet ski because I wanted to do something for me, he muttered, and I stopped paying the mortgage because, for once, I did as well. He stared at me, and something shifted. His mouth twitched, a realization creeping in behind his ego. Mom's going to stay with Michelle, he said eventually. I'll probably crash at Uncle Ray's. Good, I said. He looked down at the gravel. I guess I always figured you just had to keep handling it. I know, I said. He looked back up, narrowing his eyes. So that's it. You're just out. Not out, I said. Free. He shook his head. You think you're better than us? No, I said. I'm just better without you. He didn't like that, but he didn't argue. He just turned, walked to his car, and drove off. That night, I opened my phone, scrolled through the group chat one last time, and read every message I'd ignored. Then I deleted it. 1 week later, I moved to an apartment, bought a desk I'd been eyeing for months, and booked a solo vacation. I even got a new number. The money I used to spend on them, I put into a high-yield savings account. The time I used to spend worrying, I spent reading, hiking, sleeping in. And the guilt? Gone. Because sometimes the cruelest thing you can do to someone who's accustomed to leaning on you is stand up and walk away. The turning point came on the 7th day. Mom showed up at my door, but she wasn't alone. She brought Jordan, and Jordan brought the jet ski on a trailer, parked right in front of my apartment like a peace offering wrapped in idiocy. She knocked once, then again. I didn't answer. She called out, "Eric, sweetheart, please let us explain."